Hi everyone, happy Monday. It's been a while. So this is just gonna be some ramblings. Just some ramblings. About DC mainly. And a little bit of Marvel too. Impromptu video. I'm just so disappointed as a fan for DC just to see the films decline in quality year after year after year. We get one bright spot and then it goes back to the bullshit year after year after year. And it's like, at what point do you truly listen? And I'm not even talking about the fans, because we already know they don't care about the fans. We already know this. But why aren't you listening to the box office? Why aren't you listening to critics or fan reviews, fan reactions, audience scores? Why aren't you listening to those things? Because that's an indication of how well your planning's going. That is an indication of how well you meddling in these films and doing whatever the fuck you think is working. That's how well that's going. It's just so bizarre. I haven't seen Suicide Squad yet, but it is completely odd that of all the characters you have in that roster, you have King Shark, Polka Dot Man, Bloodsport, Peacemaker, who else? Rick Flag, Harley Quinn, all these people, and you choose Peacemaker. You choose him to get a solo series. He's the one that gets a spinoff, not Bloodsport, whose backstory alone is enough for him to get a spinoff. Not Harley Quinn, who already has a fan base, right? Not King Shark, which is off the wall like Peacemaker, but at least with King Shark, people would, I don't know, they get the violence, they get the goriness. I don't know too much about King Shark, right? But you choose Peacemaker because of John Cena. That's the only reason you picked him, is because it's John Cena. To me, John Cena, for one, he cannot carry a show. That's for one. I don't think he can carry a show. I don't think he has. I just don't think he has it. But the fact that you didn't pick Bloodsport, who had a face-to-face with Superman, and put him in the ICU. You don't think people would be interested in that? You're so fucked up over Henry Cavill. You are just so resistant to pulling Henry Cavill back in that you really wouldn't greenlight Bloodsport. You don't think people would be interested in knowing how Bloodsport and Superman came to be head to head? How Superman was in the ICU over him? You don't think people are interested in that? But no, we're interested in Peacemaker. And again, I haven't seen the movie, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. WB with these decisions on who gets a spinoff is like ridiculous. Let's rewind the clock to Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, or whatever the hell the movie was called, because I remember they changed the title of the movie while it was in theaters. Like, what are you thinking? What are you doing? Why are you changing the title of your film while it's in theaters? Hello? I always had an issue with that movie, and I always knew I was never really going to watch Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, because why in the world do you think it's a good idea to put Harley Quinn with Birds of Prey, a group she has never been a part of? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have never read or seen Harley Quinn a part of the Birds of Prey. Ever. But you know where I have seen her? You know what group she's infamous for being a part of? all female led, iconic villainesses. God, I don't know how to say that plural. But Gotham Sirens. Gotham Sirens. All you had to do was put her with Gotham Sirens. All you had to do was just introduce her, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy. Boom. Boom. That's it. You could have had a banger movie right there. And you didn't do it. And you wonder why you're in a shit show currently. And that's why I knew I would never see that movie, because it's like, you are bringing in the Birds of Prey, you're using their IP, and you're shoving them under Harley Quinn, when they should honestly have the spotlight and have their own film. Do you understand how, like, I have been waiting to see Black Canary on the big screen since Justice League Unlimited days. Like, I have been wanting to see her and Green Arrow on the big screen, right? And I couldn't give a shit that she was in Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, or whatever it's called. I couldn't care less. Couldn't care less about Cassandra Cain. Which, again, this is a different team, because the original Birds of Prey that I remember was Huntress, Black Canary, and Oracle. They did swap out members, but this was like the prominent main team. And the fact that you would just change it, and then it, I don't know. And then Ezra Miller, he wants to come out, because someone was saying, you know, is this new movie going to erase the Snyderverse? And he's like, no, the Snyderverse could never be erased. It's so iconic, or blah, 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 blah. Something to that effect. And I'm like, Ezra, stop playing in our faces. Stop playing with our intelligence. Like, we don't see the shit happening in front of our eyes. Like, we haven't been seeing for the past 5 years. WB has been pushing Snyder out. They have been ignoring the Snyderverse as much as they can. We've seen this. We've seen it. Your whole personality for your character was retconned when Joss Whedon came in. Did you not remember that? Because I remember that. I remember seeing two completely different Flash characters between Joss Whedon's cut and Snyder's cut. So don't play in my face and tell me that, oh, it's not going to remove the Snyderverse or erase it. No, it is. It is. And I'm sorry if this is repetitive from the other rant that I released, but it's still upsetting. To this day, it is still upsetting. They're so reactionary. That's the whole reason they started a universe in the first place. And that's why I said you have no business starting one, period. You know it's bad when your only justification for having a universe is a 2-second scene of a Wayne Industries satellite. And now we're at the point we're going to have Supergirl and Batgirl be the new leaders. We've never seen them on screen. You don't know how audiences are going to respond. But now you do. Because no matter what happens, they're not going to respond well to the new Batgirl and Supergirl. They're not. You have fucked yourself. But we knew this. One more thing concerning DC that I really want to touch on is Young Justice. I mentioned how it was one of my favorite shows of the year, but this arc that we had for Zatanna, I don't know. It really highlighted my annoyance with the small budget that WB has given showrunners and everything for the show. Like I don't understand. I don't understand. And I don't blame the showrunners or the animators, because they're working with what little they have, because WB refuses to give them a budget. Even though Young Justice has a huge fan base. Huge fan base. They campaigned for years to get that show back, and you gave those people crumbs to work with. We are in season 4, and they still have still shots. We are still doing like slideshow movements. You know, like those stilted shots when they're doing like a flashback, or even in the present day, or like for a fight scene. It's jarring for me. It's very noticeable, and it takes me out of the story. And I don't understand why WB doesn't just give them the budget to do what they want to do. I don't get it. I think the stilted frames and everything, it works in some areas. I think in some flashbacks, it works to their advantage. Those little end credit scenes that they do at the end of each episode, I think it works amazingly. Brilliant. It gives us little insights on different characters, little developments. Awesome. Amazing. But when you start putting it in your present story, the present time, and you have characters going like to move to another person, and you have fight scenes that are like, woo, transition to next shot. Woo. That's a problem. That is a problem. And it's so annoying. And then on top of that, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good compared to seasons 1 and 2. Because again, budget. Now, I think the budget's a little higher than it was in season 3, because season 3 was just, it was just not good. But WB, you need to get it together. But I don't know why I'm expecting the bare minimum when we've seen how you treat the people around you, the people who work under you, who actually care about the IP of DC and its characters. And they want to bring it to life through animation or live action. We've seen how you treat them. So I don't know why I'm expecting the bare minimum. I don't know. Fuck WB. Back to the video. Marvel. I had a discussion in my comment section about this, I think, about how Marvel, they lack villains. There are no true villains in the MCU outside of maybe 2 to 3 people, and they have like 20 films. Yeah. And it's annoying. It is so annoying. Constantly, movie after movie after movie, I'm watching these villains come on screen, and I'm like, you're going to give them a redemption arc. You're going to make it so we feel bad for them, and their heinous actions are swept under the rug or outright excused. That's what's happening here, and I don't like that. If you're going to present to me a villain, make them a villain, period. I don't understand this whole thing with Loki. That's why I didn't have any interest in the Loki show. You made him an anti-hero and made it so his heinous actions were swept under the rug. No. Then you take a villain like Thanos and you completely nerf him. I didn't mind Thanos in What If episode, 2? With T'Challa and everything. I thought that worked really well. You know, him not going along with the genocide and, you know, kind of it being a joke. I thought it worked well with the atmosphere and the story. But when we got to episode, 6? When Ultron came into the picture and he sliced Thanos like it was nothing. That was it for me. That was it for me. There is no true villain in the MCU. None at all. And I think part of it is because it's Disney. They want to have this angle where everyone is a good guy. People, everybody's good. You know, some people just have tortured past or blah 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 blah. And it's like, no. They even did it in No Way Home, as unique as the idea was, and as much as I loved Spider-Man for trying to cure the villains, right? But again, we're presented with all these villains from different movies, and you're trying to cure them. You think what you're going to do here is going to make them good for the rest of their lives. It is going to undo all of their heinous actions in their respective movies outside of Green Goblin. I don't know. Like Shang-Chi. As much as I loved the father. I would say that one is done well. But the last true villain that we've had in the MCU was Thanos. And before then, I would have to say Obadiah Stane. Whiplash. Yeah. Killmonger. And people are trying to undo that now. They want to bring him back. I will never understand that, and I will never get behind that. You want to bring back a character and put him on the throne, and he holds such contempt, and hatred for Wakanda. But you want him back on the throne because somehow he's going to find some sort of retribution that way. He's gonna find some sort of redemption. No. Yeah. Just rambling. I'm sorry, I haven't hit you guys with a formal video in a while. I kind of like this format of just talking and not really editing. I will get back to my formal videos, but for now, this is it. I'm ready for Invincible to come back. I'll tell you that. I am so excited for Invincible Season 2. I can't wait for it to come back. I cannot wait. Yeah, I think that's it though. I think that's all I have. Warner Brothers, I don't know. I don't know. Marvel, I don't know. As far as their villains go, it's just predictable every single time. I know what to expect. I know that you're gonna set them up to be an anti-hero. They did that shit with Echo in in Hawkeye in the last episode. I mean, really, they set it up from the moment she was introduced. And then we got her backstory in episode 3, but I don't know. Anyhow, that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys soon. Boy.